Hey, what's going on, guys? So I am making this video to address one of the worst human beings ever to exist on YouTube, and that guy goes by the name of Stefan. And the reason why is because I noticed something very interesting. I just happened to go on his channel. I'm like, I wonder what this guy's been up to. And I just happened to notice that Stefan has not he basically posts like once every 2 weeks now. He's pretty much quit YouTube. Like, he seriously, like, before in the past I made videos about how he's thinking about quitting YouTube and he's talking about it and he's kind of lost and he doesn't really want to do it anymore. This guy basically quit. He puts out like just enough videos to keep the lights on, basically. I mean, the guy's mega rich, but you guys get what I'm saying. Just to make the bare minimum amount of money that he wants to make on YouTube. But I noticed he posted a video 2 days ago, and then before that 2 weeks ago, and then before that 4 weeks ago, and then so on and so on. Like, the guy like pretty much quit YouTube. Only channel he really posts on consistently is his Iced Coffee Hour podcast. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this absolute scumbag of a person is because it's been like a very long time now. It's been just months after months now since the whole Yotta incident happened, which CoffeeZilla exposed in one of his videos a while ago. And Stefan still has not said a word. Nothing. Hasn't said anything, an apology, nothing. Just absolutely nothing about the Yotta situation. And I just think that that's just so sad and unfortunate, because if you just go and you pay attention and, you can go on Twitter or whatever, Google, and just kind of see some of the stories. And for those who don't know the full story, I mean, I guess I could put a video in the description of like a past video I made where I kind of explain what happened, because I'm not going to explain the whole thing now because it's actually kind of complicated. But basically, just a short version here, Stefan made a video titled "I Bought a Bank." That's basically what he did. And and also this same bank put Stefan on the website and said, hey, invest like Stefan and put your money with our bank, Yotta Bank, which, by the way, Yotta's not a bank. Yotta actually takes your money and they give it to a middleman who gives it to a bank. That's literally how this whole thing works. And now you have this insane, very sad situation where, one of the people involved, I think it was the bank, like went bankrupt or something or whatever. And for whatever reason, people couldn't get their money back. And when Yotta, I guess, tried to figure that whole thing out, one of the people that they were working with, whether it was Synapse or Evolve, they didn't have customers like actual information, and they didn't have record of how much money the customers put in. It was absolutely insane. It's like, what? So that's the situation that you had there. And you have people who literally have like $30,000, $50,000, $20,000, $5,000. Like, they have like their entire life savings in that bank because they thought that bank was safe. And scummy old Stefan has still been completely silent. He hasn't said a word, but he still continues to post on YouTube, still continues to do sponsorships, still continues to make money. And he's just shown time and time again that he could care less about the Yotta people, who a lot of these people invested in Yotta or put their money with that, supposed bank because of Stefan's endorsement, which Yotta knew about this. Yotta knew what they were doing. That's why they paid Graham for the endorsement, or whatever they ended up doing, whatever deal they ended up making with him. Because I think he actually like made a small investment into the bank too. That's why he tried to run with this whole "I bought a bank," even though he didn't buy a bank. He just like put a little bit of an investment into it. But anyway, that was a crazy situation. And I did just want to go over just, I guess, a few updates on Yotta. Again, this isn't really meant to be an in-depth video, to be honest with you. This is really just meant to be like just kind of just call out the fact that it's just so sad that Stefan still has not said a word about Yotta. By the way, I'm almost certain, guys, that CoffeeZilla is going to make a video about this. I'm almost certain he is, based on a few things. So I'll be very interested in whenever he comes out with that. I'll see how that goes. But I think CoffeeZilla is probably waiting for everything to play out. And in terms of like where people's money is going and stuff, again, it's been like 6 months or longer than that. It's been a very long time. People still have not gotten their money. And it looks like it's possible, from what I'm hearing, that maybe in October people might have a chance of getting their money back. I don't know. But just put yourselves in these people's shoes. Imagine you got the biggest finance YouTuber on the YouTube platform, and he's telling you that, hey, this bank is safe. I have my money in there. They've got me on the website. If you're tired of Chase and Bank of America, which there's a million reasons to not bank with Chase and Bank of America. They're kind of trash. So you're like, hey, let me go ahead and try this bank, which, again, it's not a bank. It's a fintech. And then you put your money in there and you're like, okay, well, instead of putting my $50,000 life savings that I had in Chase, I'm going to put it here. And then something crazy happens and you can't access your money. And then they're trying to tell you that, oh, well, the people that we gave your money to, they don't have any record of your deposit or even who you are, which is crazy, but that's really what happened. And so just to kind of go over like what's going on here. So here's something that's interesting. I guess the first thing I would say is, number one, there is a lawsuit happening. Yotta is suing Evolve. So you have that going on. You're free to go and look at that lawsuit. But Yotta is basically blaming everything on Evolve. Everything that's happening with customers not being able to get their money, Yotta is completely blaming that on Evolve. So we'll see how that lawsuit goes. And then there was something interesting that happened. The FDIC actually took some action just a few days ago. And the New York Times wrote an article about it. The New York Times said, FDIC says banks need to keep a record of their fintech customers. Banks holding customer funds for money management apps should keep track of customers' identities and balances, the agency says. And then you scroll down further, it says here, when a banking software company collapsed this spring, thousands of people keeping cash in online money management apps found themselves cut off from their own money for months. On Tuesday, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation proposed new rules designed to prevent that from happening again. And what's so funny about that is this just shows you how incompetent the government is. The government, I guess, the FDIC, is in the process of trying to pass this rule in order to help the people who got affected by Yotta or Synapse Evolve, whatever you want to call it. But you know what? There's actually this guy right here on Twitter, and his name is Jason, and he pointed out something very interesting, just how incompetent and ridiculous these people are. He said, kind of ironic that the FDIC's proposed Synapse rule on FBO ledgering wouldn't have actually applied to Synapse. The proposed rule exempts broker-dealers. Synapse had a wholly owned brokerage subsidiary. So what Jason is saying, and he's done a great job on Twitter covering this entire, Yotta Bank stuff, but basically what he's saying is, the FDIC is just trying to cover their butts. They don't really actually, at least it doesn't seem like they actually really care about the people who are being affected by this now. They're just trying to stop it from happening in the future. But that's not even working, because it wouldn't even, like, this rule that they're putting into place wouldn't even apply to Synapse. So let's say that this rule was in place and the same thing happened with Synapse. This supposed rule that's supposed to be the Synapse rule wouldn't even apply to Synapse. Again, I could rant all day about how incompetent the government is. They really are. Some of these agencies, they get propped up in movies, and the propaganda, and politicians are always like, oh my God, these agencies do such a great job. The SEC does a great job, and the FDIC, no, they do not do a good job. They are terrible. Like, it's absolutely insane. But, that's just kind of the updates that you got there. So, yeah, unfortunately, we are still in a situation where people cannot get their money out. There are thousands of people who put their money into Yotta because of Stefan and probably other factors, and they still can't get their money out. And I just think that's very sad. Hopefully they get their money out in October. Whenever this thing finally ends, I will make a pretty in-depth video, I guess, kind of breaking everything down, like what happened, how it happened, and just kind of go from there. But I guess this is just kind of one of those just basic videos like, hey, I see you guys. I just wanted to acknowledge the Yotta people. So please don't go in the comments and say, oh, but you didn't explain this, you didn't explain that. This video is not meant to be in-depth. This video is just meant to once again call out Stefan for going 6+ months of not saying a word about the people affected by Yotta, and they still cannot get their money out. So yeah, absolutely crazy stuff. But anyway, that's today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.